everybody.
Ross, everybody, Ross.
Huntsville.
How's everybody doing today? It's a good one. It's a hot one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, man. I'm glad we're doing this not in June. It just get warmer.
Well, you're from Georgia, right?
I'm from Georgia, yeah, so I didn't know. Yeah, I did.
Bro.
Yeah, I did.
I merely adopted. You were born.
Yes, I was. Dude, I was literally, I thought that 100% humidity was just normal, and I thought that and I do. I sweat a lot, but then I moved away from Georgia, and I realized it was also just Georgia.
Yeah.
It was also just Alabama.
I'm from Colorado, so I'm not used to it.
No, you don't.
Colorado, hell yeah. Anyone else from Colorado? All right, cool. This guy and I. All right, we'll take it.
Try this.
Yeah, we love this.
Dude, I like this microphone. It's very, it's a lot of reverb. Yeah, it does. It sounds so good. Yeah, it's good.
You probably have questions there. I was like,
So no,
he's like,
Yeah,
no, other than the humidity here, I found it Huntsville.
I love it. Have you been to Huntsville
2
before?
years ago it's here.
Okay.
We had a great time. The river walk's beautiful.
I love it. Yeah, and then
Restaurants.
downtown, the restaurants are so good. And I was, my dad was in the Army, so I was at Fort McClellan in Anderson outside of Birmingham, and I was in 7th grade. I mean, not 7th grade, when I was 7 years old. And so I was in love with the Space Rocket Center, and I wanted to go to Space Camp. I didn't get to go to Space Camp. I got to go to the center when I was a kid, and I swear when I came back, I teared up a little bit. I was like looking at all the astronaut, uniforms and the Saturn rocket, and it all came rushing back.
Is there an age cutoff on this?
No,
Yeah.
no, there's not.
It's not an age. Space Camp.
Should start in the Space Camp.
The moon needs a king.
I think you gotta do this.
Oh my gosh.
How long do you time?
My wife's gonna be so upset when I don't come out here.
I'm no longer an actor. It's a space camp.
I'm a space camp, and then I'll just be calling, waiting for the doors to open. That's what's happening. Oh man, I gotta go to therapy. I gotta work this out, man. That's exciting though. That's exciting. That's gonna happen. I'm going to space camp. I'm not gonna stick around, but I'm gonna play on it. You know,
Bring your kids next time.
dude, absolutely. And then I'm like, can we go to space camp? And I'm like, no.
Just daddy.
Just kidding. Go get for long enough. And go learn things.
Walk around the river.
Exactly. Exactly. Feed me ducks. Not bread. I saw the sign. Not bread.
Why is it?
Yeah, you don't get they give you little things. You gotta pay for the stuff and then how many ducks did you kill? Ducks fridge. Okay? Yes. It was literally a soccer right now.
No, I didn't do that here.
Oh, okay.
They used to play them in MacArthur Park in LA.
Yeah, he killed a bunch of ducks. He did. It's all right. Somebody had duck coffee or something.
He is gone.
Absolutely, we got you. I'm sorry. This is us, like dinner. We just start talking and it's all stupid.
So other than being a duck murderer,
It's gonna start trending.
What?
I think it's pretty sweet impressions.
We both do a lot of impressions.
And he does a lot of impressions. I trick people into paying me to not sound like myself. It's pretty cool to get out here and try to call people.
Yeah.
Jerky boy style.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you.
So I hear that you do a really good Justin Timberlake impression.
Oh my God, what? Hashtag party monster. What? That's so crazy. I never know what to say. So like, oh my God, he's like super exasperated all the time. He's really have to be wherever he is. Like, what?
And the other one is Matthew McConaughey.
Ah, you like McConaughey, right? Y'all know about the Longhorn, Alabama, Crimson Tide rivalry, of course. Now, where do y'all stand on it? Y'all Crimson Tide, you Longhorn?
Roll Tide.
Roll Tide!
Regan, I was about to say there are some more Eagle out here.
Hey, we got some fighting words up in here. Be a lot cooler if you like Longhorns. That's all.
No, my favorite impression is of Ross, picking up something off the ground or something as Matthew McConaughey. It's like a 7-second impression, but it's the best thing I've ever seen.
Oh, it's like it's the 5-second voice.
Yeah, yeah.
Picks up some food, like, no, it's probably all right. I do still apply the 5-second rule to this day. Honestly, it's probably fine. You know, it takes a while for those germs to get in the food, I think, right? I don't know if that's true scientifically. Nice, funny, juicy. Please stand up.
Yeah, come on, big principle, ladies and gentlemen. Yes.
Who is watching Invincible, by the way? Hell yeah. Not enough hands.
Not enough hands. You gotta watch it. If you watch The Walking Dead, you got to watch Invincible. You will. It pains me to talk about how incredible a storyteller Robert Kirkman is, because he knew that whoever he was going to cast as Ezekiel was going to have to wear all of those freaking clothes and all of that heat in Georgia, and he still made them draw it like that. So every time I see him, I want to kick him in the balls. But the truth is that he is an amazing storyteller, and Invincible is just as amazing as The Walking Dead. And I didn't think that he could do that in these two different genres, but literally, just.
I'm going to say a hot take. I actually, in some respects, prefer it, only because you can go so much further with Invincible. Like,
Right.
The scope of that show. You're going into deep space, and you're going, back in time. Since just the scope of the show.
Yeah. So the only thing I don't like about Invincible is that I'm not in it enough.
Yeah.
I should have more like bottom episodes of Black Samson being Black Samson.
But then I'll go after the duplicate.
Yeah, that's true. That was
Let's see, Immortal and Black Samson.
absolutely, yeah, because it's got kind of two opposite coins, because it's literally a guy who is almost more as immortal as a superhero could be, versus one who's just about as immortal as, you cut this dude's head off and he just keeps on coming. Yeah, man. It's like a soap opera character. He doesn't matter what you do to him, he's gonna come back.
He's an evil twin. Oh.
Yep, here he goes. Yeah. So anyway, all of that to say, go watch Invincible, until we get our spin-off.
Yes. Who would like to see an Ezekiel Aaron spin-off?
Absolutely. That's right. Maybe that's exactly. I don't know, man. It was like they tried to take a little thunder when Rick cut his hand off, but then they gave him that cute little fist. It's just not going to be as cool as that morning stuff, That's pretty good. It's pretty good.
So when it comes to being out there and acting, which do you prefer, or which do you enjoy better, the voice acting or the physical acting?
I love that I don't have to choose, honestly. I love that especially in the last couple of years, I've started to do so many different kinds of performance. I play Dungeons and Dragons, as costume critical role, and another show called Encounter Party, where I play this awesome character called Toro. It's on the Plex app. You should find it. It is an amazing show. But I'm also able to do performance capture with video games. I played Black Panther in the new video game with Captain America.
I think you have to watch the trailer for that, but it looks just like
Yeah, no, it's crazy. It's amazing the technology that they come up with. I literally do this video game in a room, about half this size, with a bunch of cameras around it, and the camera is strapped to my face. And by the time we're done, they do Wakanda and Paris all around us, and it doesn't look kind of like me. It looks just like me. And when I was sitting there, and it's crazy because I remember myself screaming at Drew, who plays Captain America. And most of the time in a video game, when they do that, they make it look like something totally different. But it's literally, I can see my walk as I walk over to him, and it's incredible. But what I love about what we do is that I don't have to choose anymore. I get to play in all of these different sandboxes and access different sides of my imagination, and we get to do things we never thought we'd be able to do. I'm living the dream, playing Black Panther, and Ross is living his dream literally as we speak, playing none other than the Professor Xavier in X-Men. 27, I don't know if you said it, but once again, another story that is just so much better than I thought it was going to be. I don't know if you guys have started watching X-Men yet, but you got to check it out. It is a fantastic show as well.
Are you caught up on it?
I haven't caught up on everything. I'm only at episode 3. I hear episode 5 is like, shocking, very sad, very, very sad. Saddest episode of TV I've ever seen. It's great too. You're gonna love it, but it's dude. People freak out because if he starts doing that, and somebody's like, "What's happening?"
We were in Scotland last month.
Yes.
Couple behind the
What's going on? Test cross, going down. Exactly.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah.
We always have a good time in Scotland.
Yes, sir.
So what drew each of you to your characters on The Walking Dead?
They hired me. I actually love that question. I love that question because people are always like, so what made you choose to do that job? I was like, I needed a job. My members needed shoes. Honestly, they could have hired me to play, second dude on the right, Walking Dead. As long as it was more than one day, I was going to take that job. I just got lucky that I happened to.
Were you wanting that part?
That was the thing. I was wanting Ezekiel, and I got the part that I actually wanted. But at the time, Ezekiel was the biggest job in my career. Aaron was the biggest, job of Russ's career. We were lucky that we were able to embody these particular characters that really spoke to so many people. And that's what I love about the Walking Dead more than anything, is that it is just a smorgasbord, honestly, of amazing characters. And we are able to talk to such a large audience. Every time I go, I always know that there's somebody that I'm supposed to meet that character has spoken to in a special way. And I can see it in your eyes. I see it in your eyes. I see it in your eyes. I know when you come up to me, and I was like, this meant something more, and it feeds my soul. And that to me is the gift that I was given with this show.
So the character really spoke to you, and it meant something to you as well.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, literally, I was a theater guy, who was, and honestly, in this job, this is what you do. You fake it till you make it. You walk into every room pretending that you are the best thing for that job, and 9 times out of 10, you're not. You walk out there and you don't get the gig, but you let it mortify you, and you fight until the right one comes along. And that's who Ezekiel was. And it was like, and sometimes you're going through a tough spot. And it's like, you don't have time to look at the reality of it. you gotta believe that you're gonna get through it somehow. And that was Ezekiel's goal. And that was how I lived so much of my life. You know, is that you know what? I'm gonna find the light in the darkness, no matter how dark it is. And one of these days I'm gonna get through it. And I don't know how many people I've met who are like that's the thing. I remember there was a guy that I met. I had this, there was a conversation that Ezekiel had with Morgan. And Morgan said, I don't know what's wrong with me, I'm stuck. And I remember looking at Lenny, Lenny who played Morgan, Lenny, the great Lenny James.
Yeah.
And I remember that line made me so angry. Because Morgan, the character, was such an amazing human being, and he couldn't get out of his own way. And Ezekiel was supposed to lightly tell him, "You're not stuck," you know. No, actually, yeah, that's right. He was supposed to tell him lightly, "You're not stuck." And I remember just getting so angry, and I said, "You are not stuck." And I remember Morgan, and then he looked at me. And I was like, and he was like, oh, we going here, you know? And I was like, somebody needs to hear that they're not stuck. And I was in Expo one day, and the guy was like, man, I watched that show, and I went to my wife, and I was like, I gotta quit my job. I gotta quit my job, because I'm acting stuck, and I'm not stuck. And he's a writer, he's written 3 books now. Wow. You know, and it's like, those moments are the reason why you tell us is for you guys, because I know that somebody out there needs that one line, you know? And so that's the thing that sticks with me. That's the thing that sticks with me.
Was there a moment that you felt that the foundation was too real?
Too real?
Yeah.
Yeah, from the very beginning. That's the coolest. I was talking to someone about this earlier, but the greatest thing about that show were two aspects. One, we got to work with Andrew Lincoln, and when that dude shows up to work, you know he's British, of course, most people know that. When he shows up to work, he's British. You know, he shows up, he's like, hey, how you doing? What's going on? All right. Yeah, like, all right. Like, he is Rick Grimes from the moment he shows up on set.
Yeah.
He doesn't break character.
No. That dude is nodding like,
yeah, he's at the table. That's not really go over there. Nah. And it's very easy to act with a guy like that.
yeah.
Because he sets the tone for everybody else. He believes that the best way to convey the horrors and the insanity of this world is to just commit to it as if it were a realistic scene from any other world. And the lovely thing is we got K&B, Greg Montero's team, doing all the amazing special effects, which also completes the sense of reality for us. As actors, you don't have to act very scared, because when you see these people, you're like, Jesus. I know zombies aren't real, but if I had to imagine what decaying flesh on a human would look like, that'd be it. And it was very, I wouldn't say easy, but it was very, it was easier, I would say, to act in that world because of 2 factors, Andy and the special effects team who did those actors, those zombies so beautiful.
Yeah. Honestly, the scariest moment on the show for me was acting with Samantha Morton, who plays Alpha. When we were with you, because I didn't have any scenes with Samantha, right? You know, I only saw Samantha outside when we were friends and we hung out and we would go to concert and stuff. And then finally at the fair, it was just she and I having and Sam like switched into Outlet, and she was just like, and she's that close to you, and she's like, I just thought this was gonna be such a not good. And I just thought to myself, you don't want to be left alone with this thing. You don't want to mix it. You know, especially she's so little. The little ones are scary. You know. That was with Payton. I was fine with Payton. I was like, I can see you coming. I can see you pop out of everybody. I can see you coming. But Alpha, when she was Sam, I was like, and I could just hear everybody you know, like millions of people watching, just being like, oh man, yeah, that was a serious one for me.
Wow. So in the event of a zombie apocalypse, do you both think that you could survive?
Hell yeah. First of all, I was an Eagle Scout. And from Boy Scouts, I learned a lot of survival techniques. I know how to do every kind of outdoors available, which comes in handy, honestly, for a lot of different things. I know how to look at certain moss and rocks and be like, oh, we're headed this direction because of the way it's grown in there. And I know which kind of leggings it's okay to eat and all that stuff. I feel like I do very well from that regard. Also, working on that show, you do get a sense of, I don't know, I mean, I feel like obviously we wouldn't be the best fighters in the world, but I think we do damn good, honestly. I really do.
I would die within 7 minutes. I just feel like something stupid would happen. You know what I mean? Like in the apocalypse, you know, you get a nick on your arm and all of a sudden it's gangrene and then you die. It's just like, I just feel like, you know, I work really well with modern medicine. You know, it's like the little things. It's like stepping off of a curb and you crack your ankle. You know, and all of a sudden you die. I just feel like there's so many moments where it's like where we're able to make it through because we don't have all of those weird things that will set you crooked and make it yeah, I just got a feeling. I was like, honestly, we all be zombies within like, you know, 2 or 3 weeks. You know what I mean?
There's all the survival reality shows you see nowadays. It always comes down to parasites. It's literally, it's like you could have the best survivalist in town, like, oh yeah, I'm going to listen to this. And it's always the parasites that get them.
It's always somebody who's like, you know what, today I decide not to boil the water before I drink it. And it was like, yeah, next thing you know, they're like, okay, I'm about to die. And you know, it's all of us. It's all of us, yeah. Yeah, no, that reminds me of like the first scene of The Last of Us, not the game, but the TV show. And it's like, you know, which I absolutely love, but it was like they were doing a news show in the 60s, and they were like, you know, what happens if this virus happens? It was like, we all die. We all die. You know, it's like, we all want to think that we're going to be one of those last 4 people on Earth. No, we're not. No, we're not. You know what? Just come up here and die alongside me. It's going to be okay.
It's something else I looked about that show years ago, like 15, 16 years ago. I watched an episode of Planet Earth, which David Attenborough, you know, he's like, and this here is the cordyceps fungus. And it's like this special mushroom that if an ant or any other grasshopper eats it, the stem of the cordyceps fungi takes over their brain,
Right.
and they become zombie-like. And they infect the rest of the hive or whatever. And I was like, that'd be a great horror movie. And I was writing the treatment for it. And then a few years later, my friend was like, oh, that sounds like The Last of Us, the video game. I was like, what do you mean? And I'm like, oh, check this out. And I'm playing together, like, God dang it. I got the concept of my movie, and I had to scrap it because
Oh, man.
someone else had the same idea, those guys.
Stupid Attenborough. Yeah. Broadcasting to everybody.
So the zombie apocalypse has happened,
Yes. Oh,
and you run into a Home Depot or a Lowe's.
yes.
What are you grabbing for defense?
No. I've always said this. You don't grab anything to go. You secure that Home Depot.
There you go. That's how it's done.
Do not leave.
See,
Or Costco. You get someone to weld the door shut, and then you have 24/7, you know, security around those gates and those doors.
that's what I'm
And
saying.
not everything you got.
That's right. That's what I was like. The kingdom was like an outlet mall. We had our Dick's Sporting Goods. That's why we had all our armor on. You know, we just locked that place down. You know what I mean? We got food court. We got dry goods. This is how it's done. I'm still mad that they made us leave the kingdom. There was no reason to leave the kingdom. You know what? The purposes of I believe that Tyler Perry was upping the rent on our set, and we were like, I think we're gonna have to do. I'm telling you, it was something like that because there was no reason for us to leave. I honestly believe Ezekiel was the best leader of any kingdom. I mean, any place. everybody was always working out and being ready for anything, but those balls were, you know, we were throwing all kinds of stuff out of those like drawers or whatever, and then, you know, I mean, you know, all kinds of herbs, whatever herbs you might need, you know. Sometimes you need an herb to relax, sometimes you need an herb to put on your pizza, but it was all there in the kingdom, you know. I'm telling you, we need to go back and make this.
I guess I'm going to open the floor for a couple of questions and everything before we have to say goodbye to our guests. So does anyone have a question?
First, guys, I just want you to know that I appreciate you so much for coming. Please, come up and ask questions. But thank you for waiting. You didn't realize what time it was, and I just appreciate you guys being patient with us and coming to hang. What question have you got?
Okay, I know.
First of all, I'm so glad I didn't wear my fishnets today because you are looking so much better than I ever would. So thank you for going ahead and doing it.
Thank you. I was wondering, I know a lot of actors like to steal things from the set. I was wondering if y'all ever took anything from one of them. Like, will I take it like memorabilia?
First of all, yes, it's true. We do. And here, come to my house. I will fight you for my, you know, I had the Ezekiel sword and his serum. Yes, I was like, this is mine. There's one thing in the Smithsonian. I got the one. Okay? Exactly. They got my wig, though. They got my wig. And, yeah.
That was like $14,000.
Yeah. No, it was great. Yeah. It was a very nice wig, and I'm glad because it was actually very comfortable. You know, it was the clothes that I had a problem with, but the wig was on point.
Yeah, to echo his point, we were told in no uncertain terms, you're not allowed to take. God, this is being recorded, isn't it?
Come get me. Come get me.
We were not supposed to take clothing or props. But that being said, I messed up my back wearing that damn mace arm for 5 years. My left arm hangs like an inch lower than my right arm because of the weight of that. So yeah, I took the mace arm.
There you go.
I did the Khary knife, the Nepalese knife, because that thing's badass too. Yeah, of course I did.
Yeah, man. I named all of my accoutrements, all of my weapons, and my sword had a bird on it, so I called that Captain Jack Sparrow. And then my gun, my sidearm was Major Payton, and I had a tiny little company was Major Payton, and I had a tiny little spike, like it was a railroad spike that they made into a little, and that was like my last defense thing that was stuck right here, so I could just jab a zombie in the eye with it, and that was Private Ryan, and I got Private Ryan to stick with it.
Go ahead.
I never do that.
As a big fan of the comic books and the TV show, like with anything Robert Kirkman does, Oblivion Song, Outcast, Invincible, The Walking Dead, if they were to come up to y'all in like 5 years and say they want to make a fake comic book,
Like a live action?
like animation. I want an animated Walking Dead with all the comic book stuff.
Yeah, I would do that.
Oh, I would do it if it's the style of the original comic and also
Black,
like,
white, and red. Like,
yeah, more the way it was intended. A lot of people don't know this, but it was originally pitched at HBO. And HBO, ironically, would have been one of the best places for it because they could show more gore and cursing and everything.
Right.
We were very limited with basic cable. AMC did a great job with it, don't get me wrong, but like on HBO, we could have done more of what the comic had in mind. And at the time, they told Frank Darabont and Galen Bird, thanks for the pitch, but we don't really do genre shows, meaning they don't do like horror, stuff like that.
Or fantasy.
And then the next year, they did True Blood, and the year after that, Game of Thrones, like, oh, you don't do genre shows. It all worked out for the best, but like, I definitely feel like if they did it in the style of Invincible, where it's like true to the comics, super gory, super, gratuitous and everything, yes, 100% yes. That'd be awesome.
thank y'all so much. I love you as Professor X.
Thanks, I appreciate it.
Awesome.
So you
A couple of questions because we're running short on time.
Okay, we're gonna rapid fire. I will not talk as much. I just lie. It's still
Anything that you guys regret did you
I got you, man. Come on.
Maybe we should come back.
Is there a character that you got to look to God, The Walking Dead?
That we wish had not died, you mean? Shame for me. And it's controversial, really. But I think Rick kind of wound up like Shane anyway. And I think he's a son of a bitch, don't get me wrong.
Yes.
But like,
Shane was the worst, but he was also right almost all the time. Like every time Rick was like, we gotta save these people, he was like, leave them. And then like, what, after 4 people died because they picked up those people, they ain't gonna leave. You know, how many times did that happen? Yeah. Rick is pretty much like the specter of death.
Yeah.
You know, every time he comes around, most people gonna die in like 6 episodes.
and selfishly, I would bring back Abraham because he was the best.
That's good answers. Good answers.
I know.
Hi there. So actually, I'm from Newton. I live in Huntsville there. So I got to see Alexander and everything growing up. But my question is, if you had to switch places and play with a different character in any of the universe, which character would you choose to play?
Michelle. Next question.
Again, I think I would say Abraham because he had the coolest lines of anybody. Like,
Yeah, he did.
even Negan, who had great lines, no one had better lines than Abraham Mother Dick.
Absolutely.
The coolest lines of all time, for sure.
That's right.
Okay, here's a fun question. What is your favorite food and why?
What is my favorite food and why? Pizza, because it's good.
I would say Greek food because my Greek yaya made the best pasticcio and baklava in the world, and he said, yeah, Greek
Your
food.
name was? Oh.
Yeah.
Hello.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Forever too.
Yes, of course. It's nothing.
Okay, so everybody here obviously knows Walking Dead, X-Men, and all of that. Of your other work that you've done, what would you tell us you would like for us to watch? What are you proud of that maybe everybody in here?
I would love for you all to download the Plex app. It's a Plex app and watch the show Encounter Party. It's a Dungeons and Dragons like actual play show, but it's 22 hour-long episodes, and I'm so proud of it. It's kind of buried off where nobody will watch it, but I had such a fantastic experience telling the story, and I think after an episode, if you're not caught up in it, then it's not your thing. But I would be very surprised if you watch an episode and aren't like, you know what, maybe I should watch something. I think the pacing of it as a Dungeons and Dragons show, there's nothing quite like it because we edited out all of like the air that's usually in there, and I play long form like 4-hour shows, which are awesome. But this show, the people that I'm playing with, they for some reason I feel like we caught lightning in a bottle, and it's amazing. Encounter Party on the Plex app. You can download 22 episodes, and you will not be disappointed.
I would say it's funny, it doesn't get enough love, I think, but What If? I don't know if you know. That show, the animation in that, the writing is so good.
Yeah.
And I get to play 2 of my favorite characters, Red Skull, Ultron, in that, and it's just so much fun. And I think, if you haven't had a chance to watch that, definitely check it out.
Yeah.
I'm assuming you have it.
I think you also still it's there if you want money from Adventures in the Game, so I'll get you later for that.
Okay.
I love it. All right.
Excellent.
My name's Serenity, and I was wondering if there was ever a real tiger on set.
Of course, there was a real tiger on set. I would never be so disingenuous as to pretend that there was something that wasn't real right there. So, of course, she was real and always was real. And she's not dead. And she's living a lovely life in Puerto Rico. She's got a little compound. She doesn't talk, but she's kind of a diva. But all of this.
Young Kitty rainforest on the northeastern corner of Puerto Rico, That's a favorite.
I feel the same way. Okay, moving on. Next question.
If you could have your own spin-off show, what characters would you bring and where in the world would you be?
Dude, what, can you talk about food?
No. Let's not talk about it. We have an idea, but we want it to happen, so we're not going to say anything. But trust me, it is off the chain.
It's the brainchild of Cooper Andrews.
Cooper Andrews, who plays Jerry. It is a brilliant idea. And he's a great storyteller, and this should be incredible.
And it's nice to hear that so many people come up like you and other people this weekend have said, we really want to see you and Ezekiel and
Yeah.
Gabriel and Jerry and Lydia. The people who've been strong characters the last few years, there's not, we don't know what's going to happen with them.
Right.
What happens after the show. So, yeah.
Okay, last question.
Okay, so my question is, as you were reading the script, when you saw that you had Shiva, what was your response? And Ross, my question to you is, when you saw that you had got bit and they cut your arm off, what was your response?
Okay, well, at first I was excited because I was like, wow, I'm going to be able to play with a tiger. And then I started thinking about it, and I was like, look, I'm going to have to work with a tiger. I don't know how this is going to work. Whose tiger is this? How well do I need to get to know this tiger? And then they told me that it wasn't going to be real, that it was CG. And here's the cool thing about here's my favorite story about this is that they took the all of the data. We bought it from a movie called Life and Pi.
Yeah.
So the tiger in Life and Pi is the same tiger that's in The Walking Dead. And the thing is that years ago I read the Life and Pi not knowing what it was about. I actually just thought I was reading a story about a precocious young boy whose parents owned a zoo, and that was it. And about 300 pages into that book, everything changes. And I love that book from the beginning. It is still my favorite book. And so the crazy thing is that Richard Parker is Shiva, who is the title of my favorite book that I've ever read. So that's a really awesome thing. That's the coolest thing about it.
And to your question, I was surprised because, of course, in the comics, Rick is the one who loses his arm. And the way they were going to play it out was once Rick punches Negan after he kills spoiler, sorry, you should have seen that a second years ago. The retaliation is he's going to get his arm cut off, right? But at the time, Andy knew he wanted to leave the show and he was like, well, are we going to do this? And the special effects guy at the time was like, yeah, but you got to wear a green sleeve over your arm because they thought it was all going to be CGI because it was just going to be stuff essentially. And eventually they said, well, no, well, what about having an apparatus like a thing that we can put over it? And they were going to give it to Daryl. So Daryl was going to get the hook thing from the comics so he could still draw back the crossbow and ride a motorcycle. And then AMC got wind of this and they're like, you're not putting one of our main actors on a motorcycle when they could easily crash. We're already freaked out enough about it as it is. It's a liability nightmare, right? And then like 2 years later, they said, hey, we're thinking about cutting your arm off. How do you feel about it? So that's great. I love it because it was such a great physical challenge, but also I think it's a great manifestation of the loss and stuff that, or so many of the characters have lost a lot, but Aaron lost his entire community. He lost Eric, he lost Jesus, he's lost so many people he cares about, and like he just keeps getting back on the horse. And I just love that they gave him that storyline arc, and I loved it. And it was a pain in the ass to wear, but it looked neat. So yeah.
It didn't look neat. It looked badass. It was awesome. I just see you standing there just dripping with blood with that. You make something on your arm, man. Nothing better. Nothing better.
Right, thank you guys so much for being here.
Oh, sure.
Complete nerve authority.